Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now these are your full moon general readings for the sign that's in the title below. As ever, bulk introduction, timestamp below, but listen to it just once through. Because I would advise that you listen to three of these. Your sun, obviously, your moon sign, because hey, it's a full moon, and your rising sign, as that's the most important to your story. So watch all three if you've got the time. Now, this is full moon in Virgo, 8 degrees of Virgo. So I'm not going to talk long about the astrology of this full moon, because if you follow the link to the Facebook page to this channel that's in the description below, you'll notice that I've posted a lot of the astrologers' analysis and breakdown and weather forecast videos about this full moon, and they're going to do it better than I do. Also, there's an inbox on that page, so if you want to contact me directly for a personal reading, there's a good way to do it. But this full moon, 8 degrees Virgo, so this moon is ruled by Hariel, the angel Hariel, who represents in astrology long-range vision and purification, which is, I find, a very, very interesting symbol. Because obviously this is all on the backdrop of Saturn square Uranus, the force for tradition and rules and endings, but tradition and rules against the new, the innovative, the chaos elements that Uranus will bring through. So Saturn is ruling this chart like it did on the new moon chart, and I talked about that back in the new moon videos. Now Saturn at 8 degrees Aquarius is now being ruled by Nelchael, who, interestingly, is an angel about eradicating plague and an ardent desire to learn. So it's almost like the Saturn energy is like, yeah, this may be the way we've always done it, and we've got to stay in the way that we've always done it, but we've also got to learn to do it better in these limitations because it's not working. As simple as that. It's not working. Now, as I say, Nelchael or Saturn is ruling this chart, so we're looking at eradicating plague, which you can't deny the symbolism of that one at the moment. But what is interesting is, out of the chart itself, the most talkative angels are Sahalia and then Cahatel. Now, let me just check because I didn't write it down. Sahalia is ruling both Venus and Lilith, and Cahatel is, Cahetel, sorry, I should say, is ruling Pluto and Chiron, like I think Cahetel has been doing for a while. Now, the conversations that are going on here is Sahalia represents letting go and mental force. So it's eyes on the prize. That's where we're headed, and all this other stuff is not necessary. Whereas Cahatel is all about diffusing negative energy. And as I say, those are the two most talkative angels in this chart, theoretically, all subservient to Nelchael in this chart. However, they are pretty much talking to all the planetary degrees, all the other angels at the moment. So it's almost like the king says one thing and the advisors are going, are you sure? Are you really, really sure? Do you not think there's a better way of doing it? What if you think about this way? What if you think about that way? But I think there's a better way of doing it. And they're going around the royal court and they are building up support, or they're acting like the chief whip of a political party, doing exactly the same, drumming up the support. Have I got your vote? So there's also this is directed, or the spotlight of this conversation is the moon, Hariel, long range vision and purification. That's the agenda that they are putting on the table in front of Nelchael or Saturn. And it's really interesting because the moon is quincunx, or I should say, as Rick Levine would say, quincunx Saturn. So Saturn doesn't really know what the moon's on about at all. You know, it's almost like, yeah, newfangled stuff, not my thing. But it is necessary, and that's why we have the this influence of Sahalia with letting go, and then Kahatel just keeping everything calm, diffusing the negative energy. Yes, that's going to be awkward, but we can do it. And Sahalia, with their mental force, can go, hell yes, we can. Well, maybe not hell, they're an angel, but oh yes, we can do this. So it's really highlighting an agenda shift. Now, the astrologers will also have mentioned it's good for relationships, this full moon. Again, go and watch all the astrology videos that I've posted. I'm looking at it from the degree angels level, this is, it's like that tagline, things will never be the same again. We are setting the agenda for the new world. We have a new world. I've not heard that phrase, the new normal, so much recently, but there's still a lot of political agenda to try and make the old normal return. But let's be honest, it's not going to happen. It is a new world. It's a new world every day. Oh, I'm sure that's a song. But it's a new world every day anyway, but it is very much a new world. And Saturn, in its square to Uranus, in its quincunx to the moon, is, I'm almost seeing, desperately trying to hold things together, which I think is quite, yeah, look at the news. Saturn is definitely trying to hold things together, and at some points it's succeeding, and at some points it's fading. But the counsel of the angels here is to try and just let's make this process a bit easier. Now, what is interesting with Saturn as well is this, where have I written 8 degrees Aquarius? This is Spider-Man's Saturn. This is the Saturn on the first publication date when Spider-Man first hit the stands back in 1960 something, which I completely forget off the top of my head. But there is that message, with great power comes great responsibility. So Saturn is almost forced to accept that things have to change somewhere. And of course, Saturn is in Aquarius. It is looking more towards the future. It is looking to expand, to work with the community. Now, the symbols, after I'd figured all this out, I went and had a look at the various symbols for 8 degrees Virgo. And yeah, you'll have to forgive me. It's obvious I'm reading from the screen. So first we'll start with the inside degree, a man mixing cement. So we've got this image of, if you're mixing cement, you're building something, you're creating something. But the explanation of the image says jammed tight with concepts, thinking about what you are doing, interpretations, evaluations, opinions, and surmises, void of heart force, believing in progress, bent upon success. You strictly, rigidly carry out what the mind dictates. It goes a bit dark here. A form of ignorance that is very clever. Something missing in the soul. Compensations on top of compensations. Exceedingly busy, hyper with plans, projects, and enterprises. You're very good at achieving results. Riveted with to the phenomena, but prone to casting shadows that come back to haunt. So again, we see the reason for that influence of Cahatel, of the diffusing the negative energy, because everybody wants the world to return to normal really, really quickly. But that ain't going to happen, or at least the old normal ain't going to happen. But I love that, just that one image of the man mixing cement. This is the point where we start building. The new moon was, if I remember correctly, was all about finally integrating and starting to act on all the lessons that we've learned during the Capricorn cluster and 2020, which I think is very nearly ended. Well, or at least March 2020 has very nearly ended. Well, we may be in the 450th of March, but you know, we can see the turn of the page coming. Now, the Sabian symbol is equally as intriguing, and this one more encouraging. So the Sabian symbol is an expressionist painter at work. The interpretation saying about boldly breaking new ground. We must carve out our own path according to our own sense of who we are and what only we can do. Our right to be unique and our ability to express in this uniqueness creatively must be asserted. We must take it. It cannot be bestowed by a teacher. It is only the potential to be original that is a given in life. Originality itself must be assumed. Life is risky and we have to live with that. So again, there's that balance of, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, and the fact that things need to change. Uranus is going, oh yeah, change, change, bring change. But again, Uranus, that's its natural spirit. In Taurus, that change is not really as fast. Some astrologers say that Uranus in Taurus, it's almost like it's, yeah, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. It's probably thinking about it wildly, but not going to do it. And then bam, that's where the lightning strikes, because it just can't hold back anymore. Now, there is a thing called seed degrees and fulfillment degrees that I've learned from a blog, John Sandback, I think his name is. But for this full moon at 8 degrees Virgo, the where things come to a head for whatever is stated here or set into motion here. So stated as in a natal chart, or set into motion as in, you know, just the mundane transit chart. The fulfillment degree is 13 degrees Gemini. So I rather think that that is a point to be watching out for when other planets come to pass 13 degrees Gemini. The other interesting things that I noticed, Mercury, 13 degrees Aquarius. This is and of course I'm going to talk about comics and magic. This is the Mercury of Grant Morrison. Now, if you are familiar with Grant Morrison as a writer, superb writer, really likes to put layers upon layers upon layers of what it is that he's putting forward. You know, whether it's his signature series, The Invisibles, which went really deep into all sorts of woo-woo, or just his time on the Justice League of America, where it was like big concepts that would stick with you and you'd still be thinking about them several days later. Also, Israel Regadi of the Golden Dawn, this is his Chiron. So without diving into the details of Israel Regadi's life, there's that opening for disciplined magical healing is what I'm seeing from that, because that's how I'm assuming Chiron can be interpreted within Israel Regadi's chart, or at least taking it out of his chart and looking at it with the rest of the world. So these readings, they are same as ever, by sign. It's the gods that play reading. We look at the gods that are supporting you during this period, and we look at the more archontic forces, or the gods that aren't really gods. Their energies designed to suppress you and keep you away from your glorious destiny, soul function, soul purpose, yes, soul function, which will be on the top row of the reading. it is a look at the energies. You can ask a question like I'd normally ask you to within your monthlies, but I ain't going to guarantee that there will be an answer. And again, like any form of tarot scope, it's either it makes sense to you or it doesn't. And if it doesn't make sense to you, then it's probably not for you. This is a YouTube reading. I am not sat with you face to face. So it's either going to confirm what you already know, stroke success, suspect, give or take the influence of confirmation bias, or it's not. And if it's not, then you can probably ignore it. Or maybe just think about it and then forget about it unless something occurs that makes you go, oh, yes, we know a song about that. So obviously, like, share, subscribe, join the Facebook page, because that way it's a one-stop shop for all the astrology videos as well as my videos. And like I say, you can contact me there. Subscribing to the channel really does help the channel. Liking helps the algorithm boost the video. I'm sure you know the YouTube politics by now, so if you're so inclined, please do help my YouTube politics, or Google politics, as Chris Witecki calls it. That's everything. I've waffled long enough. Let's crack on with the reading. Cheers. Okay then, Pisces, my apologies. You're seeing just a photo of the cards rather than an actual film of them because my mobile has stopped talking to my minicam on my computer. So, as you can see, as ever, we have the two rows of the gods, the top row being the archontic masks of the gods that the archons are wearing in their attempts to suppress you and to keep you down. And the bottom row, of course, are the gods that are trying to lift you up. And interestingly, we've got Hermes twice here, once with messages and once with journey. In fact, you could almost say, if you was just to go by this bottom row, it's saying cast that love spell. Hermetic arts with messages and journey and two Hermes. Eros with love, and then Morgan Le Fay with magic, and Aradia, the goddess of witches. But Aradia here represents being defensive. And so it's hinting that where you may find that you are naturally defensive, i.e. hiding your light under a bushel or just being on the defensive and waiting for that criticism and reacting against it maybe before it even occurs, Aradia is saying, relax just a little bit. Now, the top row, this is the archons. This is who the archons are pretending to be. We have Hestia with home, Vishnu with balance, Dionysus with merrymaking, Nuit with expansiveness, and Lilith with equality. Although I didn't see the equality, the first thing as I turned over the card, especially with it being in the archon row, was Mother of Monsters. So, the message from the archons seems to be that you are being, their urge is to be called to protect home and protect certain standards that, come what may, they must be upheld. That's what I'm getting from Hestia. I mean, obviously, Hestia you can relate to the, fourth house, Cancer, home and family aspect. She's goddess of the hearth. And clarified here by the Two of Cups. So there's some really interesting with the Two of Cups appearing there rather than on the bottom row where it's basically saying cast a love spell. Let's see what other cards we've got. Vishnu with the Death card, Dionysus with the Chariot, fair bit of major arcana here, Page of Wands for Nuit, and the Judgment card for Lilith. So there's something's coming in from the archontic side, which is focusing your attention to home and working along with those forces that are naturally and normally around you. Whereas the bottom row, let's have a look. We have saying that it's almost like new love is coming in. And when I say new love, that could be a person, but it could also, and I'm more tempted on this one, be a passion, something that you are learning about or something that you are getting involved in that really fires something up in you. And the reason that I say that is because the whole idea of the two Hermes cards, that it is brought to you in the form of information and that you go on a journey with it, especially since we have Hermes representing messages, Eros then clarified by the Six of Wands, so a victory card, but also look in this how it also reminds you of the Six of Swords, this particular card, the going to a better place. So you're having victorious love in motion going to a better place. And ideally, both Hermes cards are clarified by swords court cards, representing air, representing information. But what I really like is the two witchcraft cards. We have Morgan Le Fay with magic and Aradia with defense. Morgan Le Fay is clarified by the Empress. There's an invitation to let more magic into your life. Now, whether this is magic of a topic, whether this is magic of a person, whether it's actually both, the topic leads to the person or the person leads to the topic, and you have that sense of... Well, so the Two of Cups here is on the top row with the Archontic level. It's the new love is not a Two of Cups new love. It's a wonderful new love, but it's not a Two of Cups soul partnership, eternal love, and, you know, bluebirds helping you get dressed in the morning sort of vibe. This love is active. This love is something that makes you want to keep delving, keep finding out more, keep examining, which makes me think it's more a subject than it is a person. But this is something that you could easily be distracted from. Certainly as I get it, circumstances that create balance within the home are suddenly changed. We have Vishnu, like I said, clarified by the Death card, but then Dionysus with the Chariot. So there's that element of escapism. Let's not forget Neptune remains in Pisces. But there is a transformation that is offered to you this month that is not necessary. What I would say is, don't go on the path for utter and total transformation, sorry. It's the exploration aspect that's important, not the transformation aspect within this lunar cycle for you, because, again, both Hermes cards, you know, that hermetic study, passion, but research, experience, facts after facts after facts, and you see the links and you see and that goes to that. Okay, well, if that means that, then this means this, and that, and you know, it keeps spiraling on as you find out more and more. And the other reason that I'm saying this is from the Damon Tarot, we have Sabat, which is talking about ritual and community. So if this is a new love, there may be more than one person involved. I'm not saying you're having a love relationship with them, but if it's a topic, that statement is totally understandable, because just as much as there could be two of you really into a subject, there could also be 4 or 5 of you who have that same love for a subject. So the angel of eternal love, yeah, and whatever this subject is, it's worth chasing, because maybe there is that love aspect eventually from it. Now, I'm not saying that's this month, but that, like I said, that was like the very first impression I got from that bottom row is, time to cast the love spell. Um, I don't agree with love spells, but by getting involved in this topic, that you feel love towards this topic, you then are setting on a path to bring that love into your life if it's not already there. But it may well feel like it's threatening the home as you are entering into this new topic, field of study, passion, campaign, whatever. So we have the angel of eternal love, the angel of power, and the angel of wisdom. Wisdom comes from the depths of my experience. Again, echoing that hermetic vibe from the bottom row here, that delving and examining and judging is the wrong word. Judging is the wrong word, but discerning what is valid and what is not valid, what is connected and what is not connected. The angel of power, the power of divine love, protects and enfolds me. You are guided on this path. And even if there is someone within the home that goes, hang on a minute, what are you doing this? Why are you doing that? There is stuff going on in the home here. The home is being affected by shifts in equilibrium from outside the home. That's fine. Doesn't stop you chasing whatever this passionate new subject is. And then the angel of eternal love, as I let love in, it stays in my soul forever, which is, especially with this Six of Wands with Eros, is telling me that whatever this new fascination is, it has profit for you. It has, and I don't mean profit as in coin. I mean profit as in evolution, as in joy, as in expertise as well. And like I say, possibly leading you to a far more loving environment, whether that's within or without, and certainly a far more magical environment. So magic's on the horizon for you then, Aquarius. This is actually lovely. It's going to be quite interesting because it's going to be tough to balance the domestic demands with the demands of whatever this thing that's coming from left field is. But this left field influence, this fascination for some topic or another, does promise spiritual rewards, I suppose is a good way to put it, later. You have to approach it in a disciplined and communal fashion, always good for you, Aquarius. And then with Hakamia from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, the loyalty aspect. You can deal with the domestic environment, but you don't need to let it dictate or rob from you this new fascination. That's what I might call the I'm saying Aquarius, aren't I? And you're Pisces. I don't know. I've got Aquarius on the brain. I do apologise, Pisces. This has been quite a challenge doing these readings today. As you can tell, I've been having technical issues, and the entire time I'm saying Aquarius and you're Pisces. I am sorry. But, oops. Okay. There's a good one for you, eh? Cheers.